today it's a powerful topic because we are talking about many issues. The topic is wealth mindset conversations. We're going to just have some conversation around wealth. One of my partners, my business partners, Dr. Akanimo Odon, says these points very powerfully. I think he's got about 7 points that helps you to understand your inherent gift and how that you need to know that this is something I was born with. When you do it, you are so joyful. You don't even know how it started. You just love doing it. And when you do it, it gives you that satisfaction that, you can even touch the joy. You can touch the satisfaction. As you grow older, of course, then skill is added and you become better. I remember this incident very well. I'm talking about inherent gift because many of you are sitting on gold. You are sitting on inherent gift because at school, they never taught you that that inherent gift is your greatness. You call them hobbies. And just a hobby. I just love doing this. I just love volunteering to do this. It's a hobby. Well, if only you knew that if you added much value to that and gave and you did whatever it is that you believe in intentionally, you have no idea how much wealth will get to you. I was 13 years old. This is so vivid. There was a conference that took place in Ndola in Fiwale. I come from the Baptist background. And during that conference, we were competing. Choirs were competing, who is singing well and who's pointing to Jesus nicely. And if you're a group of 50, you must point at the same time if you have to win. Our group, I drove our group. I was 13 years old with elderly people, but I drove the whole group to follow my inherent gift. Guess what I did? I told them our group, it would be memory verses. Because my brain was very strong when it came to memory. I was able to, do memories in church like water, like I'm just breathing. And so I influenced big people. If we choose, a memory verses, I'll make you win. And they somehow all believed, it's leadership. It's that something that is inside of me. But watch this. So the final day came. We even had some, people who came from Canada and from United States of America. They were part of that, annual conference. And so our time came. So I stepped up on stage and I began. Guess what? It was the book of Esther. All the 10 chapters. Yes, all the 10 chapters, word for word. Guess what? It was in Lamba. How I wish it was in English, but it was in Lamba. So I went on, couldn't even swallow saliva, word for word. People clapped and they were tired of clapping. People got tired. I did not get tired of talking. So I told you, talking is money for me. Because now I've improved. You can see even how I'm talking to you, that I have now mastered, my talking. It's not just talking. Now I've mastered it. Now I've properly packaged it. It's my inherent gift. I can preach like the whole day without getting tired. Yes, I can. Like the whole day. I can stand on stage the whole day just talking. As long as there is water for me to replace, I can do that. It's inherent. It's inside of me. You can wake me up anytime to talk. I will talk without brushing my teeth. I will talk. It's my inherent gift. So anyway, there I was, up to 10 chapters, and we won a trophy. But watch this. This is something that I would love to bring you to, because I think at that particular time, I didn't even understand what this was all about. It was just an excitement that, people would clap for me when I spoke and. But the two Americans and 2 Canadians, they had a conversation with my dad. I didn't even know I was not part of the conversation, but they wanted to take me to Canada or USA. I'm not even sure now. They wanted to take me there because according to them, my mind was too much to handle. And they needed, according to them, I only learned this when I was 17. According to them, I needed to be taken in a certain special school
where they take such crazy children. That is what my dad told me later on. Well, we went up to the airport, but somehow we retained because I think my dad was scared that I can marry a white person and I would never come back. Being the only girl, he was so scared. It's a topic for another day. And so I came back very happy with my dad. But at 17, watch this. This is very important because I think this is the time that I had a light bulb moment for my inherent gift. As I'm talking to you, this may be your light bulb moment for your inherent gift. So at 17, I was already now mature in things. I was preaching. I was doing all sorts of things. I was already ordained. I went to my dad. I was like, what was that? Why did we retain by the airport? What was happening? Why did those whites want to take me? That's when my dad told me to say, Nellie, look, you have a very unique mind. This is my dad. You have a very unique mind and it's not just normal. And so those whites, they wanted to take you into a school which was supposed to help you take that mind to another level. That according to them, my mind needed to produce things. I needed to come up with concepts or what. I was like, really? Oh, well, that time it didn't make so much sense. But something happened to me. I then realized I needed to treasure this strong memory. I needed to treasure how I spoke because I took so much time on stage doing these 10 chapters. But then something happened to me that I needed to really pay attention to how I spoke and how I treasure the things, that, I keep in my mind. I've got a very, very strong memory. And I needed to start treasuring that. I mean, I can stand to preach for so many days without even looking into the scriptures because if I read a chapter, somehow it will stick in there. I can quote it by verse. Well, the way I used to do it then when I was young was worse than now. That time when I was young, I think a young mind is able to store a little more. Today, I can, quote it, but maybe not line by line or not word for word. I may miss and just paraphrase, but I would literally know, even when a preacher is preaching and hasn't mentioned the scripture, I would know to say that is from this chapter. It's unique. It is my inherent gift. It is what has been put inside of me. But you know what? Nobody told me that actually my inherent gift can bring wealth. I didn't know that by my talking, if I was able to, package it nicely, I would actually get paid with it. I didn't know because I was only told, you go to school, study hard, get a degree, go to university. Well, it's powerful. My dad loved education. May God bless his soul. That man, everything. Whenever he came from wherever he went, have you studied? Have you what? It was school. God bless him. God bless him. But let me tell you something. How I wish he also said, Nellie, your mouth, train it nicely. But you also trained me how to preach. Anyway, so he did some job there. But it was not really properly packaged. I started pursuing it seriously. I think when I was 21. That's when, I started really doing it a little bit more orderly and, realizing, but mostly on, voluntary basis. And that's why I thought, let me have children quickly. So when I got married, my agenda was, let me have the kids quick so that I can go back to school and start working on this inherent gift. This thing that is so properly packaged inside of me that I was born with, that is such a natural. Because that natural, when you package it well, let me tell you, it brings you to greatness. There are a lot of things that pop out of my mind that are so new that nobody has heard. Many people who sit under my leadership, they get surprised. Like, where did you get that? How did you know that? How did you interpret that? It is natural. It is natural. And therefore, your inherent gift has got wealth attached to it. But you've got to add value to it. You've got to add skill, expertise, because the moment you do that, you are on the road to success. You are on the road to getting wealthy because This is something that you were given. And guess what? They are people who are waiting to pay you for your inherent gift. And today, that's exactly what happens. I do a lot of organization transformation. I go to big companies. I do team building for management, middle management to CEOs. I find myself in that space coming out with ideas, that I haven't seen them on internet. They're unique. When I begin to talk to that company, when they just tell me what is going on, this, I'm able to know exactly what they are supposed to do. Well, it's natural. Now I've developed it, I've added some value. At least there's dollar that is attached to every time I open my mouth, especially if I'm addressing, companies, especially if I'm helping the company to go to another level. I help companies to brand themselves. I help companies to, I'm able to know what, it's like, it's natural for me to know what somebody's supposed to do. That is why I call myself a destiny rescuer. I call myself destiny shaper. I shape people's destinies. I help them fix it for it to be aligned so that, they can succeed in there. Yeah, that's number 2. Number 3, okay, it's wealth mind mastery. Okay, wealth mind mastery. Let me tell you something. If you really want to step up into this wealth system, you've got to master. In other words, it begins by you mastering it in your mind. So let's go back to breaking down this soul. It's got the mind, it's got emotions, it's got the will, which is the decision-making power. It's seated right there with you. And so, in order for you to master wealth, the posture of your mind, the posture of your emotions, the posture of your decision making is imperative. What is it that you are saying if you have it in your mind? Are you saying what you have? Or are you simply repeating? So when I'm wearing another cape, you tell people, repeat these words. I am powerful. I am wealthy. Really? Is that their belief? Because if you don't master, let me tell you something. Whatever you don't master slips out of your hands. So you've got every time to position yourself to the space where you've mastered wealth attitudes, wealth habits. And it begins from posture of your mind. Because whatever it is that you speak, it must come out from the place of belief. Now, watch this. Whatever it is that you've believed, okay? Again, in the book, in the great book that I love to refer to most of the time, the author said, faith is a substance of things hoped for. The evidence of things not yet seen. So where is this evidence? It's right inside of you. It must have pictorial images. What do you imagine to become? What do you imagine to have? Do you have a vision board? What is it that you look at when you wake up? You are mastering wealth. Your expenditure. There are a lot of people who will stay in a very, very expensive rented house. You haven't mastered wealth. Because delayed gratification is what will cause you to master wealth. So if today you can starve yourself from certain things with that mind of what will happen after 1 year. If we can stay, for example, in a 2-roomed house so that we can buy land in order for us to build our house, let's do that. You are mastering wealth. Yeah, you are mastering wealth. Than you staying in a very expensive rented house, something that is not yours. It can be beautiful, but it is not yours. You haven't mastered wealth. So I'm giving you those examples so that I can just paint those pictures in order for you to understand what it means to master wealth. You've got to think about tomorrow. You cannot have today's gratification. You've got to delay gratification in order for you to have continuity of that gratification. Don't eat the seed, plant the seed in order for you to have prolonged gratification or prolonged legacy that you are building. Come out of that house if it's rented. Go and stay in a 2-roomed house and start serving. Better to go into an unfinished house. Listen to me. Better to go into an unfinished house, but it is yours even if there is no electricity. And for months, you don't enjoy DSTV. For months, you're not using, geyser. You are using brazier to, boil water. It is okay for a temporal measure because you've got something that you want to achieve. That is how, because you need to begin by things that you're going to starve yourself from. That is wealth mindset. You need to master wealth. And if you interviewed people who have made it, you will see that they may be driving a smaller car with a small engine, because they want to preserve on fuel. Because they've got a longer plan. There's something they want to come and achieve later. So for the next 2 years, you'll be seeing them in a very small car because they've got a future to look at. They've got a future to look at. They have positioned their wealth into things like, for example, you can't compromise on education. They will put education there, but they can starve themselves based on where they are staying. That is, you are mastering. Mastery of wealth, it is also habits. Remember, I'm speaking these things at random because I am addressing you right now as I'm speaking to you. You need to look at your habits. What wealth habits have you introduced in your life? What is it that you are doing in order for you to master wealth? Streams of income. If you have one stream of income, girl, dude, I want you to know you have actually just sentenced your wealth to suicide. You can, especially in this era, you cannot depend on one stream of income. How many streams of income? And when you begin to build that business, do you know that you've got to wait for about 3 to 5 years? Do some research. 3 to 5 years for the business to have a turnaround. For that business to start blessing you back. Some of you, 1 year you start this business. Next year, another business. The other, you haven't even had your major business. I read a book by Dr. Francis Miles. What is your arithmetic? What is that one thing, one major thing where your business is mushrooming from? So you need to have one major, and then you need to have some tributaries of wealth. But you need to know that this one is the major thing that I'm doing. And these are other streams that have to also even bless this one. You don't jump from one business to the other just because you heard your friend traveled to Turkey. She's ordering clothes. You also travel to Turkey. Do you have strength to sit in that plane? Do you even have marketing skills? So it is very, very important for you to understand that. That book is very powerful. Understand your arithmetic, understand that space of influence, that space of, where you do things naturally. It's wealth mastery. You need to master wealth. Your mouth must speak what you believe. Never just speak without adding that belief, because the energy, listen to me, the energy that you have inside of you, the emotions that you attach to what you are uttering are the ones that will bring the universe to line up. That includes partnerships. You will attract associations, based on the energies that you have. Some of you find people that dupe you all the time. You know what? Check your inside. What is it that you are attracting? Are you scared? Are you living in fear because somebody duped you in the beginning? So every time you are starting a business, like, oh, what if she's like that one? What if he's like that one? Deal with the inside of you. You need to do that cleaning up. Clean up the messed up inside so that you can attract the like-minded people. Remember again, in this lovely book, When Mary had conceived something extraordinary within her, guess where she went? To another person who conceived a mysterious pregnancy called Elizabeth, because they had something unique within them. That's where she gravitated towards. Who are you gravitating towards? Wealth mindset mastery has to do with you bringing that mastery into perspective, where the people that are lining up, they are lining up based on your emotional attraction, based on your positive attraction. That is how you see people. You attract what you have or what you are. In the great book somewhere, I think it's in Philippians chapter 4, it talks about whatever things that are good, think about them, whatever things that are pure. So what are you entertaining? You want money, your entertainment is poverty. Do you know that I've always been telling people, don't say what you don't want. What is wrong with you? Don't say what you don't want, because your unconscious mind doesn't understand the word don't. So if you say, I don't want poverty, sorry, poverty will visit you, because your unconscious mind has registered the word poverty. And that's what you're going to be bringing out. That is what the universe will get attracted to. That is why, again, there's a saying where they say, if you want to measure your life, look at 5 people that hang around you, or 4 people, you are number 5. So define the people you associate with. You are number 5 of who they are. It is very important. So this thing about mastery is very important. Whoever you are hanging around with. So associations are very important. Do you know that association can actually destroy your wealth or your success or your vision? There's a story again. I love this book because there's so many practical stories that you can use today. And somewhere the author says there were 2 ladies, they had the same business. So in this business, they had even increase in their businesses. They conceived. They're prostitutes. They conceived and they had babies. And so because they were trading in the same thing, they were found together at all time. One friend had loss of business. Okay, they slept on the baby and the baby died. Okay, so she was careless, but because of association, watch this, the friend demanded that the business of the other person or the vision of the other person needed to also get destroyed. They are associations like that. They are friends like that. You need to know wealth mind mastery is very important to what you hear, who you associate with, what they say. This friend started causing suicide to the mind of this friend. We have to cut this child in the middle. We have to get this child is mine. This child is mine. There are people who have even taken your ideas because you shared ideas with wrong people. And they have fought your ideas. You share those ideas prematurely before you actually establish them. Who are you hanging around with? Wealth mind mastery has to do with even what you are receiving, who you are hanging around with. This is why some Solomon guy, king, had to walk onto the scene. And I'm addressing Solomon as wisdom or knowledge. In order for you to master wealth, you need to read books. You need to understand biographies of wealthy people. You need to spend time with some. How did they survive their loss? The stories, the experiences of people who have made it. You need some Solomon to step up into something you're about to lose so that you don't go through the experience. We call it predecessor value. There are people who have walked the road before. If you could only associate yourself with them through purchasing their books, through listening to their videos, you will survive. That vision will live again. That is why that vision was still alive. because some Solomon stepped on the scene. Wealth mind mastery needs information that will bring whatever it is that is sinking to get it back into position. This is why one guy lost the axe herd, but because there was an Elisha who was in the place, that axe head floated. You need people who will help you to master, who will help you to always go to another level because you've mastered. Your mind is always thinking about wealth things. Whatever, even when you go in a store, your mind is so, let me use a negative word like congested with wealth words. Your mind is, like possessed. You are possessed with statements of wealth. That is wealth mind mastery. You've got to master your mind. You can't let your mind loose to sit in a place where there is crap. You cannot let your mind loose to go to meetings that are not adding value. You cannot let your mind loose to sit under TV watching soaps and you sitting there hours on end just listening to people making money. Do you know what you watch? That people are making money to what you're watching. How much money has got into your account after you finish so many episodes? How much money? Wealth mind mastery gives you time to say, look, I can only go up to this time. Nothing wrong to watch movies because you learn a lot from there. But you know what? It will be wrong for you to be a slave to episodes. That is what is wrong. You haven't mastered wealth because when you sit idle, first you are damaging your eyes. Did you know that? As you sit watching hours on end, 2, 3, 4 hours, you are watching episodes. Do you know what has happened? You are taking away something out of you. Somebody is making money. That starring, the one who's acting, is making money. As you are sitting, you are actually wasting money away. It's good to watch movies, but watch the time. That is why if you've got a wealthy mind, you will tell yourself, I can sit here longer. What is it that I've done? In the morning I was sharing something. No, it was yesterday. I was sharing something about high-paying activities, HPAs. HPAs, when you invest in HPAs, you will be helped to actually master your mind because everything you'll be doing is so intentional. It's got value, addition. And as you begin to master that, you will see that even self-development falls into wealth mind mastery. Because as you take your brain back to school, into a workshop, into an online course, you know what has happened? You have mastered something that nobody can take away because that knowledge will cause your vision to live. That wisdom will cause your business to still go to another level. You may want to pack it up. You may want to let it go. But when you sit where there's wisdom, when you associate with people who are going somewhere, you will make it. That is wealth mind mastery. The fourth point is time versus wealth. Time versus wealth. I'm sure you've heard people say time is money. Oh, yes. So if time is money, what is it that you've realized to be doing or to be banking so that time can bring wealth? We all have 24 hours. And did you know that 24 hours has been given to everybody, poor or rich, white, black, red, yellow, Christian, non-Christian, 24 hours. It is a reset button. It is the beginning of every person to start from somewhere. How have you programmed your time? There's a way in which people have also explained this. They've divided time into 8 hours. Okay, so 8 hours you give to maybe you work, and so you're going to spend time working. And as you've given your blood in that company, as you've given your time to that company, they will value your time. And at the month end, They will pay you based on the time that you have spent at work. Well, you've got another 8 hours where maybe it's in traffic, or you reach home to cook or to do whatever, to watch TV. It's packaged. It's like your free time now, where you can do what you want to do.